Story 1. I found the Reddit account of an ex who had recently died. It was him being very earnest about his career and hobbies and offering thoughtful advice. It was really endearing and sweet. Story 2. Yes. They posted pictures and catfished people by pretending to be me. Story 3. My sister-in-law died a year ago after a long battle with ovarian cancer. I found her Reddit account shortly after her death. It was full of posts and comments about her approaching death and how she felt about it. Reading them was incredibly sad and it broke my heart. Story 4. I found his posts and they were all about our open marriage and my so-called kink for him cheating. I had no idea we were open or that I loved him having sex with other women. Sarcasm. Story 5. I found a girl posting pictures of herself with him from the weekend I had planned to visit, but he canceled. I posted the pictures in the same subreddit and sent him screenshots as a way to break up with him. Story 6. I found my husband on Reddit. It was all political ranting and tabletop war game content. Story 7. I found my ex's account and he was secretly a moderator for a flat earth subreddit. That was a weird day. Story 8. Yes. He was flirting with women and commenting on their pictures. The worst, though, was the posts he made about my children and how much he hated them. We had been living together for a couple of years at that point. Story 9. Not quite on topic, but I found a college friend's account. He talks a lot about how important our friend group is to him and how we saved him from a very dark place. He is harmless, incredibly kind and understanding, but can come on a little strong and overzealous in some friendships. Ever since I read his posts, I have had much more empathy toward him. I too have come out of dark places with these same friends. These are the relationships we protect, build, and grow. Story 10. I found my partner's Reddit account a month ago. He was pretending to be a single dad and picking up other women. He even sent them pictures of food I had cooked, claiming he had made it and had built a whole life without me in it. Story 11. I checked his posts and discovered he was the administrator of a hookup subreddit for our then local area. He was asking about swinger clubs in a different area where he was stationed on certain weekends. At first, he denied being sober when posting on the swinger pages, then later admitted he was bored and curious. I would have told him to go read a book, but he said he did not read books. I returned his very expensive gift for what would have been our 4-year anniversary and ended the relationship. Story 12. I found his post that went viral. He was making fun of me and had posted a picture of my home to insult me. He also made derogatory comments about people from my country. Story 13. My mother abandoned us when we were children, and I have not seen her since 2006, but I know her Reddit account. Story 14. I once found an ex-boyfriend's secret Twitter. It was full of hateful comments about all sorts of people. I took screenshots and sent them to him, saying, "Oh my God, look at this dumb hate page that Twitter keeps recommending to me. I guess someone in my contacts is so bored with their pathetic life they have to spread hate towards strangers." I knew it was his. He tried to play it off like it wasn't him, but the page was deleted right after I sent that text. I think I broke up with him the next week. Story 15. I found out I had been dating a serial cheater when I discovered his throwaway account. The posts asked how to cheat and get away with it and described in detail each person he had cheated on me with. From that account, I learned it was at least 6 people within a year, and that he had cheated on me with the woman he later dated at least 3 months before I broke up with him. I'm over him now, but I don't know how I can trust someone again after that. Story 16. No, but I did find my boss's Reddit post accusing me of being disgusting, dirty, mentally ill, and possibly on drugs, all while being kind to my face. I worked in her home and had no clue there were any issues. I would have thought we had the most perfect professional relationship. I reached out to her and within seconds the post was deleted. I still have screenshots. The internet is forever. From then on I received excellent performance reviews, regular raises, plenty of pay time off and grace, but it never left my mind. And before anyone asks, no, none of it was true. It was thinly veiled fat shaming. I started a weight loss journey after I left the job. When I returned for a party after losing some weight, I was treated like an entirely different person. It was completely body shaming. Story 17. Yes. My partner is thoughtful and kind in person and online. I have taken screenshots and saved a few things he has posted about me. My favorite is, I absolutely adore her. The way her face lights up when she's excited. Anything she wants, I will do or give her within my means. Story 18. I discovered he used his main account to ask on a divorce subreddit whether he needed a lawyer before or after he told me he wanted a divorce. He gave me a specific timeline for when he decided to leave. It was very fast. Story 19. I found my ex's posts. She asked whether she should break up with me for various reasons. The reasons were fairly ordinary, but commenters said breaking up seemed extreme. She argued with them in the comments to justify her position, essentially seeking validation to end our relationship through Reddit. It was very strange. Story 20. Yes, my wife read my Reddit content on a previous account. She was disgusted by the conversations I had and the Reddit communities I was active in. She said she was seriously considering leaving me. I then dug through her online history and found multiple fake names on dating profiles that confirmed cheating. Stones in glass houses, etc. I bet she regrets that. We are about done now, I would say. Story 21. We share Reddit, so sometimes when I log in I see replies that I didn't write and laugh. We know each other well enough not to be shocked. Story 22. Yes, an ex now. There were lots of posts on gay tweaker subreddits. I did not know he was using meth. I never got tested so quickly in my life. Story 23. Not as shocking as some other entries, but here goes. I found my ex's throwaway account in one of the relationship advice subreddits. At the time of his post, we were still together. I was 18 then. His religious family was pressuring us to get married because we had committed actions considered wayward by their faith. He was asking for advice on how to navigate the situation. It was shocking because I never expected to see myself as a character in a relationship post. I knew it was him immediately due to the timing of the post coinciding with the family blowout in real life. I never told him I knew. Story 24. My ex commented on multiple transgender subreddits, complimenting women. It would not have been a big deal except that he became openly transphobic in real life. Story 25. I have never told anyone this before, but now seems like a good time to share. Years ago my ex left his laptop open while he was showering, so I looked. He was logged into his LiveJournal account. I scrolled through his posts and found a private entry in which he wrote about offering my friend's 15-year-old sister and her teenage friend money to have sex with him. He was 30 years old at the time. That was one of many reasons I left him and later divorced him. Story 26. No, I did find my old boss's Reddit account. He did me dirty when new owners bought the company. I learned from others that he told new management he refused to work with me and wanted me fired rather than transferred. They insisted he fire me himself and he still backed out. It was a mess. A severance check, a few years, and a new career later, he is divorced because his wife cheated. He wrote at length in that post claiming he was faithful and would never have even considered it. Except he used to sexually harass female coworkers and brag about his Tinder account. How is your wife's new boyfriend? Daryl? The kids seem to love him. Story 27. My partner found my account and showed me all the times I have gushed about him in the comments. It is really embarrassing when they are all laid out like that. I do not know what he expected though. Story 28. My ex used our shared account, which was tied to his email address. He had changed the password when we broke up and used the account to post several very explicit images that were not safe for work. I had forgotten about the account for a long time and only remembered it after the breakup, so I checked it out of curiosity. I immediately regretted that decision, but I also found it ironic because during our relationship he had been strongly opposed to publicly posting nude photos, and now he was posting them publicly. Story 29. My ex-partner created a new Reddit account and posted in the relationship advice subreddit about how I went to a concert with some friends instead of him. We had recently broken up and he could not understand why I would go with friends and not him. I told him he was not going to manipulate me into feeling bad. He sold the tickets, so after we broke up I bought my own because he cheated on me. He followed my account with his new account and probably does not realize I know. It took a lot of willpower not to correct his version of events. Story 30. I found my cousin who claims he was bullied relentlessly by the other cousins, which was upsetting because it was blatantly false. He was actually the only bully in the family and had essentially one target, whom he is still a bit of a jerk to this day. He also seems to have a lot of rage toward his mother, which is concerning. Story 31. This is not about a significant other, but about a man I was in an on and off situationship with. He gave me his Reddit account early on when we met and encouraged me to read his posts. He turned out to be a player with daddy issues who was using me to fill gaps while he searched for a more culturally compatible woman for a long-term relationship. Years later, he reached out to apologize and grovel for a second chance, which I found highly suspicious. I checked his Reddit and discovered he had just broken up and was on the rebound while still pining for his ex and trying to get back with her. I called him out, and he accused me of invading his privacy and tried to gaslight me. I went no contact afterward. He ended up marrying his ideal woman. I wish her luck dealing with his severe hoarding, dead mice in his townhouse, lack of self-awareness, misogyny, and infidelity. Story 32. He has almost no posts or comments but has occasionally posted about stopping drinking. Neither of us drinks often and even less now with children, but he has a family history of alcoholism on one side, so I respect his self-awareness and his intention to address it. Story 33. I found his account and the enormous number of vulgar, vile, and sexual comments in nearly every pornographic community imaginable. He sought casual sexual encounters as soon as he left the house or was away for work. Story 34. This is not my significant other. It was a guy I went to school with who used his nickname as his Reddit handle and was active on cuckold subreddits. Fucking moron. Story 35. I discovered that the man I was dating was married and cheating on his wife with me. Fun. Story 36. I found my now ex-fiancé complaining that I never helped around the house, that they did all the cleaning and cared for the pets, and that we had a dead bedroom. In reality, I did all the cleaning while they slept during the day. The dead bedroom was because they were asexual and had no sex drive, which was definitely not the case for me. Story 37. Once, when a friend and I were not getting along, I found her Reddit account. I was relieved she did not mention me, but then I was devastated to read that her father was ill and to learn about what had happened. I did not understand how she must have felt until I had to care for my own dying mother. My partner posts in obscure band subreddits and electronics repair forums. I do not blame him if he asked for advice, but I have already forgotten his username. Story 38. We shared our Reddit usernames, and I saw he had posted on a relationship subreddit saying he felt sparks with another woman, whom he had told me he hated, and did not know what to do. I asked him, and he said he was asking for a friend. We had been together for 5 years at that point, laughing out loud. Story 39. I saw my partner venting about me. It hurt more than I expected. Story 40. The only thread my husband's account has commented on is one about farting, which is very on brand for him. Story 41. A long while back, someone I was dating and loved showed up at my place and dumped me, leaving me in tears. Later, I discovered their Reddit account and learned that immediately after dumping me they had a threesome. Story 42. I found the profile of an ex-friend of my best friend, and it was eerie to look through. Nothing overtly shocking was on the account, but I had forgotten what she put my friend through, and most of the shock came from being reminded of how extreme her actions were. In short, she was extremely codependent, and when she felt my friend pulling away, she tried to spread rumors that my friend was a closeted lesbian and accused my friend of sexually assaulting her on multiple occasions. Even after admitting she had lied repeatedly, she still wanted to be friendly and insisted she had done nothing wrong. I hope she is doing better. Everything she did seemed to be a sign of severe untreated mental illness and profound trauma, but some posts suggested she was getting worse. Story 43. I discovered a whole other life my former partner was living through Reddit posts and used the posts as evidence. Story 44. My partner rewired his apartment himself, so there was a lot of electrical work. I invited him on my friend's annual camping trip over Labor Day, and he was very active in the camping subreddits. He had never been camping and bought us a really nice tent, sleeping bags, sleeping bag liners, and other gear. I said he did not have to do all that. Last year, I accidentally used my mat as a pillow and the tent bag as a blanket. There were many cats. Story 45. I had saved his username to keep tabs on him because I did not trust him. I had not heard from him in ages. Months went by and I saw no updates on his posts about psychology and philosophy. Nothing that would make me think of affairs or anything like that. Meanwhile, I kept fantasizing about how I could beat him. Long story short, I found out he was dead. I kept staring at a dead profile. It was not a dramatic announcement, but it was still shocking. Story 46. Not my significant other, but someone I know. His wife has stage 4 cancer and has had it since 2021. I found him because he posted in one of the local subreddits asking for donations. The post was familiar because I had seen the same post on Facebook and we are friends there. I went to his profile and confirmed it was him because he posted some workout videos. Then I saw him leaving dirty comments on local hookup subreddits and simping on the R18 subreddit. I am shaking my head. Story 47. I found posts my ex made while we were together. I had received a business card from a director at a sales job where I was working. He was trying to recruit me. My ex spun this to claim I had been offered a role in an adult film and was considering it. Most of the posts accused me of being a terrible person and described situations that never happened. He was also rating women in different Reddit communities. He refused to speak to me about why he was doing these things. He wanted to act like it never happened. Story 48. I discovered my college boyfriend was cheating on me when I found a Reddit post of his about taking his girlfriend to a restaurant on a particular day. We had not seen each other that day. He took his girlfriend to a restaurant I had never been to, and they shared food that I am highly allergic to. Story 49. After I learned my ex had been engaging in multiple affairs, my friends did some digging and found his Reddit account. They discovered he had been taking out loans from users on Reddit and not repaying them. He owes approximately $250 to strangers online. Story 50. I would be so embarrassed if my partner or friends found my Reddit account because I come across as a chronically online pop music fanatic. Laughing out loud. I think theirs would be the same. Story 51. Back when I still used Facebook and was married to my ex-husband, I was out of town visiting my best friend and we went on Facebook. At the time, Facebook showed what posts your friends were liking, and he was liking the photos of several other women. He tried to play it off as no big deal, but I did a lot of detective work and discovered it was more than just liking photos. He was trying to arrange meetings while he had a job that allowed him to drive around during the day for client appointments and offered little accountability. This led to our divorce. Story 52. Not exactly an ex, but a regular hookup. I found their Reddit accounts for 2 of them. One was mostly kind, sharing tips in the tinnitus subreddit. The other was posting homophobic, hateful slurs everywhere. I had just broken things off with him, and he also posted to our small city subreddit, trying to find a group to take a spontaneous international trip with him. He only described his physique and shared nothing real about himself, so hundreds of comments roasted him. One comment said, "I get it, man. It is hard to make friends. Anyway, I am an uncut 7-inch, 42-year-old male." Story 53. Yes, he is 47 years old and was commenting on girls' nude pictures titled "Teen but Legal," "Goth Teen," and similar. I have never been so creeped out. Story 54. Finally, one that applies to me. I found her account during our divorce and discovered she was stalking me and posting updates to certain toxic subreddits like Just No Mother-in-Law and others. She posted updates about everything I was doing, where I was, our interactions, and how she was gaslighting me. It was a total nightmare. The worst part was that these subreddits were encouraging her. I was hotel hopping, and she would call the police on me wherever I went. It was hell for a year. Story 55. I stumbled across an ex's account a few years ago while reading comments on a post. I knew it was his because it matched his gamertag, but it had never occurred to me to look for it. There were sweet posts about me from when we were together, some cruel posts about my mother that made me uncomfortable, and in the years after we broke up he seemed to become aggressive toward people online. He was also participating in subreddits that did not align with my values, so it confirmed for me that ending the relationship was the right choice. We still chat from time to time. He had not posted there the last time I checked, and I have not told him I did a deep dive when I found the account. Story 56. Laughing out loud. My ex had a secret Reddit account where he posted nude photos, hit on every woman who gave him the time of day, and asked people to meet up to perform oral sex in his car. I should have left him then because I was disgusted whenever I remembered the comments he had left. Story 57. A typical Reddit story. I found his throwaway account used for hookups. He was leaving desperate comments on people's pictures and getting no responses. That made me feel very uncomfortable. We broke up. What does it say about me when he was trying so hard to cheat and no one was interested? Story 58. I found my ex on Reddit accusing me of cheating in a post that included my personal details. I would have been offended, but we had been broken up for over a year when he made the posts. I felt very uncomfortable with his comments on not safe for work. Posts featuring women who looked like me. There were unhinged ramblings about politics and conspiracies as well. We initially broke up because he stopped taking his antipsychotic medication, so finding his Reddit account confirmed that I had made the right choice. Story 59. I discovered my significant other was not heterosexual and was interested in gay sex, to the point of creating an account just for twink content. A year later, I learned he was using hookup subreddits for both heterosexual and gay content. He says he never had any interactions or physical encounters, and only used them for inspiration. After we broke up, I found another account where he commented that he was single because he had been lonely in his last relationship with no mention of cheating. I also discovered he had been on nude exchange subreddits, which he says he only used after we broke up. Story 60. Why do most of these involve emotional infidelity? So depressing. Why are people such garbage? Story 61. I stumbled across my now ex-wife's account. I could pinpoint the exact day she started having an affair. Her posts became bitter. She went from sharing cute stories about her life and pets to posting only angry rants. Story 62. I found my little brother and confirmed he is a lovely human being. Story 63. After a long conversation in which I said I was okay with pornography as long as he shared it with me, I discovered his Reddit account was full of material that was very extreme. I logged off and locked that memory away. Story 64. Yes. He was definitely acting like a different person with people online and commenting on girls' photos. He said he did not have much to say to me about what I was going through, but he could help everyone else. Story 65. My husband posts advertisements selling custom erotic fiction, pornography of your choosing, and charges by the word. I would recognize his writing and humor anywhere. That explains where the random PayPal transfers come from. Story 66. Oh yes. I searched my boyfriend's username, which he uses for everything, on a whim and discovered that he had a massive pornography addiction. We'd been living together for a year at that point and I had no clue. He was chatting with women, posting pictures of himself, engaging in role-playing and seeking role-playing partners and hookups in our area. He had so many Reddit accounts. The activity was beyond just having a wandering eye. It was a straight-up compulsion. There was a disturbing amount of activity. I used a website to retrieve content he had tried to delete, and I scoured subreddits using keywords to find his accounts. It was absolutely devastating and turned our relationship upside down. We ended up staying together. He went to a lot of therapy over the course of a year, 2 rounds of trauma therapy, a dialectical behavior therapy course, and Sex Addicts Anonymous meetings. He also quit all social media for good and started a more demanding job because idle time was feeding his addiction. Took a lot of talking, complete openness and honesty, crying and yelling, and many hard conversations. I'm sure some people will think I'm stupid for staying, but seeing the work he put in to fix his problem gives me peace with it. We have a child, and the 3 of us love each other. Even during his acting out, we had a very happy home life, which is why I was so blindsided, and I wanted to give our family a chance. I think he had some serious demons, but I love him for how he worked to better himself. Story 67. I found mine was doing online fan activity. She was plugging her link. Story 68. No, but I stumbled upon my estranged older sister's Reddit account, where she made up elaborate lies that I supposedly have cancer, diabetes, and Crohn's disease, and that I am flying to Japan for a special treatment because I saw some TikTok influencers do it. There were many more strange lies. I do not have cancer, diabetes, Crohn's disease, and so on, but I almost died in a car accident last year and am permanently disabled because of it. I guess that story was not considered interesting enough to share. Story 69. Yes. I was browsing a relationship forum and found a post that sounded like my situation. We were seriously starting to look at getting a pet and moving in together, and I found a post where she was asking everyone's take on moving in with a man she did not love, hoping things would get better in the future once they had stronger ties. Seeing it spelled out like that, I knew. We broke up that day. Story 70. Laughing out loud. Yeah, I once found my ex's Reddit by total accident because he used the same username as his gamertag. He was posting like he was single, flirting in direct messages, and even ranting about me. Felt so weird reading that and then pretending I did not know for a week. Story 71. My emotionally abusive ex posted about me on the Dead Bedrooms forum in the months leading up to our breakup. We had an infant, and all he did was tell me I was doing everything wrong with our son and the house and that I did not make enough money. No wonder I did not want to have sex with him. Story 72. Yes, my ex's feed was filled with not safe for work threads. The number of penis images strongly outweighed images of breasts. He admitted to posting his penis on Reddit multiple times and had been doing so for a long time. I am still baffled by it. Story 73. I was so naive about Reddit. I honestly thought it was just a place to post, ask questions, and tell stories. It turned out an ex was hooking up with people on the site throughout our 2-year relationship. He even went to an apartment and received oral sex through a glory hole. What I found on his Reddit profile was wild. Couples seeking a third partner, open relationships, glory holes, and more. I was so happy in our relationship that I had no idea he was this kind of person. I don't know if I can ever trust another man with a Reddit account. Laughing out loud. Story 74. My former partner tried to solicit a threesome on Reddit while we were together. I am sure he did other depraved things on the site as well. Story 75. Oh my gosh. Thankfully no. I haven't really dug deep. I'm scared of what I might find. Haha. Story 76. I came across my husband's post years before we were married. He had responded on Reddit to someone who was asking genuinely how not to hurt or make women uncomfortable during sex when he had a larger penis. I guessed it had been difficult for his partner to be comfortable. My husband answered, and that is when I learned his intimate secrets. I loved him even more for the care he took in paying attention to my needs and what helped me be more comfortable with his size. We have been together for almost 13 years now. I hope the person he answered was able to have the same success. Story 77. I discovered my husband was hiring sex workers while I was out of town on business. He was offering free rides to college students in exchange for oral sex and finding like-minded, unhappily married partners to have sex with in my car. Story 78. I caught my ex posting in a role-playing subreddit where they actively wanted to engage in cheating roleplay, which I still do not understand. How is that not just cheating? I am glad that is over now. They also signed in on my laptop and forgot to sign out, so all in all they are not a very smart person. Story 79. Yes. I found a lot of lies and horrible things posted about me, and a post claiming she was single. The post was dated a couple of months earlier. When I confronted her about it, she said, I had forgotten that I wrote that, and you weren't supposed to see it. Story 80. Not me, but a friend found her ex, who was living with her at the time, in multiple red pill and men's rights groups. One of these subreddits was banned from Reddit and described on Wikipedia as a terrorist group due to its members' incitement of violence against women. Story 81. I only saw one post by accident, and he clicked away quickly. I was a single mother. My ex, my child, and I all lived together. He was struggling mentally and wanted to break up. I packed everything up and went out of town, but I planned to move with my child when we returned. While we were gone, he changed his mind and wanted us to stay. I should have told him to piss off, but I did not. I unpacked everything like an idiot and stayed. Fast forward a few months to New Year's Day. We were sitting on the couch, snuggling and watching a movie. He asked if a certain actor was in another movie. I said I did not know, so he pulled up the internet to look it up. I glanced over just as he opened it and saw a photo of him wearing only boxer shorts with the caption "Rate me on Reddit." I was done and left with my child. Story 82. I found my husband's profile and saw him commenting on an OnlyFans thirst trap offering free nudes. I'm okay with him using porn. I just do not want to see the evidence. I never checked his profile again. Story 83. Nothing shocking, just adorable. He rarely posts. Once he asked for people to play a virtual reality game with him. I thought that was so cute. The sweet man just wanted friends to play games with. I love my husband. Story 84. My kids found mine and had so many questions. Story 85. It was not public posts. I discovered my former partner sexting in Reddit chats with probably more than 30 people during the 4.5 years of our relationship, and commenting on porn there. Story 86. At the time I followed my boyfriend's Reddit account, but I had never used Reddit myself. One day I wanted to see what subreddits he was in. Instead, I found multiple posts where he asked local women to hook up with him, essentially advertising himself. He described his build, hair and eye color, height, and age. This was more than 5 years ago, and it has stayed with me ever since. Story 87. I saw a post by my best friend's former partner about their relationship problems and my friend's sensitive mental health struggles. The post went viral and everyone took the ex's side, but they did not mention that the ex had been emotionally abusive and neglectful for years. We all worked together, so it was a difficult situation for some time. Story 88. Long before Reddit, I found my brother's Yahoo adult profile back when they were public. That was how I discovered he was a crossdresser. It was ironic because I am transgender. Gender variance must run in the family. I pointed out that it was alarmingly easy to stumble across the profile and that he worked in a state where gender presentation was not legally protected. He could have been fired if his bosses had found the profile, so he needed to consider taking it down. Story 89. My ex-husband liked to make thirsty comments on not safe for work posts and talk about his threesome fantasy ad nauseum. He told other men how lucky they were that their wives allowed them to have sex with other women, and he mused about how to get a girlfriend to be okay with him ejaculating in another woman. I had shut the idea down from day one, but it was evident he held out hope I would change my mind or was seeking thrills through those forums. He occasionally posted comments like, "Everybody say hi to my wife," fully anticipating that I read them regularly. He basically intended to psychologically torment me. We had each other's account information, but after 8 months of not checking his, finding a barrage of misogynistic and hateful rhetoric was a shock. I am happily divorced now. Story 90. Yes. My wife posts mild, not safe for work pictures of herself. I found her profile and was surprised, but I had asked her to do it for fun. I should clarify that she was completely okay with it and not pressured. We have been together for decades and are enjoying this together. Story 91. I stumbled across my wife's account randomly. I have no idea what she has posted or commented because I have not checked. I am not nosy like that. I don't know if she has, but I am not worried about it. Story 92. I discovered my high school ex comparing women to dogs while flirting with other women. We broke up immediately afterward. Story 93. Yes. He mostly hits on girls who post cheeky pictures, complains about me, and talks about motorbikes. I mean, he is an ex now, but yes. Story 94. I recognized 2 people I knew through Reddit. One appeared on a local subreddit and was an old coworker. She was dating a magician, mentioned him, and recommended his services to a party planner, so her connection was obvious. The other was my future sister-in-law. We are both getting married next year, and she posted a very specific situation that she had just told me about on the wedding subreddit. I checked her other posts and confirmed it. The mix of her hobbies and her activity in 2 city subreddits, one for her current city and one for her hometown, made it clear. Story 95. I found that she still had limerence for her exes, which sent me into an anxiety spiral about whether I should be in a relationship with her. I'm still dealing with that, I guess. Story 96. I found my father's Reddit account. I regret it. I didn't need more evidence of how horrible a man he is. Story 97. I found my ex's account full of him commenting on girls who appeared underage. He was 40 at the time. I could not get any proof because it had all been deleted. Now I cannot tell anyone because they will think I am just making it up like a bitter ex-wife. Story 98. I found a friend from rehab who died a few months ago from her addiction on this site. We thought she was sober, but she was posting about drinking days before she died. That will haunt me forever. Story 99. He searched for people to come over for group sexual activity while I was out of town. He posted requests to trade nude pictures of wives, including pictures of me posted without my consent. I discovered he wore my underwear and shared images publicly. This happened repeatedly. Story 100. I found my ex's posts when we were still dating. Multiple posts commented on teenage girls' bodies when he was in his mid-20s and generally blamed women for everything. The last time I checked, he had fallen deep into the alt-right rabbit hole, posting toxic masculinity content while still commenting on how to chase younger and younger women. Story 101. Once I found my boyfriend's post about a friend I had over for the first time. He wrote how much he was into her, giving specific comparative details about why she was better than his current girlfriend, me. I showed him the post and told him that she was gay. Story 102. My ex-boyfriend wrote more than 100 posts about me on a subreddit called Narcissistic Abuse after we broke up. I never knew he hated me so much, and it took 2 years of therapy to heal from the nasty things he said. I was afraid to speak during conversations because I thought I was being narcissistic. I dodged a massive bullet. Story 103. I found my husband's Reddit page. He doesn't post or comment much, but one post that stood out to me was when he answered the question, "What's something you'd never want to find out is in a piñata?" He said, "Chili." Story 104. I found my ex's Reddit account while we were still married. I found at least 20 posts, either celebrating single motherhood or describing how difficult it is. The discovery shook me, and I never confronted her. She used manipulative, narcissistic tactics to make me believe everything wrong in our marriage was my fault. That allowed her to make a guilt-free break and shut down her feelings. She got the single mother life in New York City. She is miserable but does not let on. She had just signed a lease on a new apartment and was laid off weeks later. Our daughter got into her top choice for high school. She is very lucky. This is a lifetime opportunity. I am torn by my duty as a father. I battle in my head. Should I let my ex fail? Or should I make sure her rent is paid so my child can attend a great school? Story 105. My former boyfriend and best friend of 3 years sexted thousands of men during our relationship on gay porn subreddits and local threads. There was a game where men would send their own nude photos, and whoever had the smaller penis had to send their girlfriend's nude photos. He usually had a 5-inch penis on a good day and would also send my nudes if someone asked for them. I had a mental breakdown and vomited 3 times when I went through his phone. Story 106. My ex found my last account after seeing me vent in borderline personality disorder loved ones about her. That made my living hell a little hotter. Now that we aren't together, I kinda wish I could go back and reactivate that account, but I know she would just stalk it. Oh well, laughing out loud. Story 107. I have found 2 Reddit accounts. They belong to a friend and coworker, not a spouse. Nothing alarming. I learned new things about them. Some wholesome and some that made me raise an eyebrow. Story 108. Okay. I do not understand how people try to pick up women or flirt on Reddit. I did not know such spaces exist here, and you do not even know where these people live. What the heck? I would rather complain about politics and learn how to make root beer. Story 109. My partner and I found each other. No real surprises on either end. We're pretty boring, I guess. Story 110. I found my husband's posts on Reddit. They were all related to his hobbies and nothing scandalous so far. Laughing out loud. Story 111. No, but if she found mine, I would be fine. I have nothing to hide. She knows everything. Story 112. I found my wife's Reddit account, but I never bothered snooping. This is her thing. Story 113. This is why you should set your posts and comments to private, so they are not visible on your profile. Story 114. I found my ex's Reddit. Half her comments were relationship advice, as if she were some kind of guru. Meanwhile, she cheated on me. That's why I couldn't find any advice on cheating. Story 115. I found the account of my girlfriend of 8 years. It had many posts from years ago praising how great her boyfriend was, which was wild because she broke up with me a few weeks later. Did she have another boyfriend? Story 116. I found my adult daughter a couple of weeks ago. She posted some cool artwork she painted on a subreddit I frequent. I did not check her post history. Story 117. I am curious how people determine the owners of the accounts. That alone is intriguing. I can imagine some scenarios are more obvious than others. It is valuable to consider all the possibilities, since many people here have experience with this. Story 118. He was the type of guy who commented on nude photos and other compliment-seeking subreddits but would actively refuse to compliment me to teach me a lesson. Shaking my head. Fuck my life. Story 119. My fiancé posted about the investigation regarding our daughter and a possible sexual assault against her. He got the details so wrong and minimized the possibility that it even happened. We have talked since, and he still does not quite believe it happened, but he is following all the Child Protective Services guidelines and safety plans. In fact, when I told him about several opportunities when it could have happened, he became more serious. It was shocking that the story in his head was completely warped and painted me as an over-worrier. Story 120. Not his posts, but my boyfriend Googled something about a video game on his computer and clicked a Reddit post explaining it in the search results. He had told me earlier he had not been active on Reddit in years, so when he clicked the tab and a profile was signed in, I assumed it was just an old account that stayed logged in because he frequently looks up lore and information about video games. However, on the side of the screen I saw his recently visited subreddits and they were all pornographic. I got upset because I do not want my boyfriend looking at other women. I did not have the words to say it to him and I did not want to seem irrational, but when I went home I searched the subreddit that had been visited most recently because the name was something weird I did not recognize and I could not figure out what it would have been about. That subreddit appeared to have been taken down years ago. I could not find anything about it. I figured if the most recent subreddit he'd looked at was nowhere to be found, then it must be old. But for a moment I was terrified I would have to have a conversation about it with him. Story 121. My ex posted that I cheated on him, but he left out that he wanted an open relationship. I was the only one getting attention. Story 122. A previous partner posted the nude photos I had taken for him on a subreddit about methamphetamine and discussed my body with people there. Felt very violating. Story 123. Found my fiancé looking for free videos of an OnlyFans model. Story 124. I browsed the account of my ex-partner. She did not know that I knew her Reddit username. I found information she had kept secret from me, and she admitted it on Reddit. I was able to take her to court over it. Story 125. I saw our adult daughter's Reddit account where she was making up stories about her life that were not true, apparently to get attention from strangers. We asked her about it, and she has been what kids nowadays call no contact. That was about 3 years ago. Oh well, we have other kids who are not assholes. Good riddance. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.